Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21. We are here in the Red Bull Ring of Spielberg for Austria GP in Moto3 career mode. So Grant in pole position after a magnificent qualifying session, Binder, Suzuki in the front row with McPhee, Alcoba and Rodrigo, Acosta, Massi, Guevara, Farad, Izdihar, Garcia and Mino, Salach, Foggia, Artigas, Fanati, Toba and Rossi, Antonelli, Sasaki, Koffler, Dupasquier, Onchu and Tatai, Cooney, Yamanaka, Fallon, Fernandez and Stefano Neppa at the back of the grid. So we now look to the light, we need a good start from Grant, and away we go! Power setting 1, of course, is going to be a difficult race for us here in this magnificent Austrian GP. We've already lost 3 spots, now 4 spots, so we're going to lose any more into the rise up to turn 1, down into 6th place, going to go round the outside of Jamal Massi or Pedro Acosta. Couldn't quite see with the Red Bull KTM riders, there's that bloody many of them. Jeremy Alcoba to our right, that's a good start from him. Alcoba and Grant have had enough scraps this season to last an entire career. But look at Acosta up on the inside. Speaking of scraps, we've had many scraps with him as well, as we tried to get up the inside of turn 3. Not quite the confidence with a full tank load to try and get ahead of Pedro Acosta. Big shout out to Darren Binder and Suzuki. Binder got the whole shot and Suzuki's trying to stay with him, but it looks like Binder has the speed, he has the confidence to try and potentially get to the front and disappear from the rest of the group. It's not easy to do in Moto 3. We are yet to do it. I think, actually no, we did it in Argentina, but that is probably much it. We won't be able to do it with power setting 1, let me assure you. So Gabriel Rodrigo now making his way forward. He needs a good result, Rodrigo. He has had too many crashes this season, same as Darren Binder and John McPhee. He's ran it a little bit wide for turn 6. We went for the tighter line using the apex, and now potentially onto the left-hand side. Track limits warning given to Grant on the first lap of this Grand Prix. Not ideal as we try and get the change of direction, get alongside Gabriel Rodrigo. Even better if we can get ahead of him, but it's not quite going to happen right there. Of course, you'll see on the straights we are losing so much time with power setting 1, really making this championship very interesting with power setting 1, so God bless it. But going into turn 10, a little bit out of shape, we're a little bit wide for there. As long as we stay within the track limits, we should be absolutely fine. So Rodrigo ahead of us, Acosta, McPhee, Suzuki, Binder all ahead. Binder got the whole shot, Binder got the dream start from 2nd place on the grid. Now into the right hand side for turn 1. Of course, that is where the long lap penalty is. We don't want to be I don't fancy taking that at all, especially not into this very difficult Grand Prix, because if we lose the speed from there, lose the slipstream to these guys ahead of us, it's good night Vienna for a top 5 finish. Binder is actually stretching away from Tatsuki Suzuki now. It's a great result from him, and we are yet to be challenged from behind, but I fear the worst coming out of turn 3, to be truthfully honest. Hooked it up nicely coming out of turn 3, using every single bit of ounce of power that we have. Massia is behind us by 0.2 of a second. I wouldn't mind betting by the time we get to the end of this lap, oh my goodness, Massia would have already passed me, but he's already there. This is going to get really concerning for us if we don't stay in the slipstream with Gabriel Rodrigo, Acosta and co. Because if we don't hold the slipstream, we could well and truly potentially be going backwards in this Grand Prix. Far from ideal that we want here today in Austria. I knew this Grand Prix would be a bit of a challenge, but I absolutely adore this track, and I do feel we are exceptionally strong on the brakes. So I think we have a lot of disadvantages, but at the same time, quite a lot of advantages. So we're going to see how things progress here. I'm expecting a massive battle from behind, I really am. I know if they get into the slipstream, it's basically for me, if I make a single mistake, speaking of mistakes, we go a little bit early into turn 9, just touch into the rumble strip, so not ideal, far from opposite, let's be honest. But if we mess up turn 1 or turn 3, this could be an absolute slogfest from behind as Gabriel Rodrigo sets the fast lap of this Grand Prix, a 1:38.084 for one of the championship protagonists. Now going into turn 1, navigated pretty well. We're going to get a decent exit from out of that corner. Jamal Massi is 2.5 of a second right now behind us. If he's into our slipstream, you better believe he's going to get through on us in any moment time. 80,000 of a second behind us he is, 54,000 of a second, he's already ahead of us. Jamal Massi and Sergio Garcia also trying to get ahead of us. I think Andrea Mino is there as well, as Gabriel Rodrigo makes the move on John McPhee. The Argentine is roughly around 4th, 5th place, and both battling for 4th place, as Darren Binder still into the lead with Suzuki, Acosta, McPhee and Rodrigo lurking behind. But it does look like he is impervious right now. He's got a good couple of tenths of a second ahead of Suzuki and Acosta, as now Acosta tries to take over into 2nd place. If the Spaniard can get ahead of the Japanese rider, he could very well potentially get ahead of him and chase down the South African ahead. Mino is behind us by less than a tenth of a second now, so we are holding a position which I'm quite impressed at, because at this point I already expected to be losing positions left, right and centre. But into turn 7 we're still holding our own. The only Husqvarna probably in the top 15. We are really flying the flags for the Sterile Garda Max Racing team this season. The only man who's been able to finish on the podium, take pole positions and even race victories. Now into the right hand side for turn 9, navigated much better than the lap previous. We'll be going into turn 10 with more confidence as we just get out of shape a little bit there. Braking a little bit too much, and look at the speed difference coming out of this corner now. We lost so much time. We could potentially be losing 6th place going into turn 1. Andrea Mino is there, Masia is there as well. We have lost position and we're now fighting with the rest of the pack. The Wolves are attacking us again a little bit wide as we go onto the inside curb there. Apologies, I always say wide, but I'm trying to stay too close to it, so I'm going the opposite of wide and going too tight. But we are in the slipstream of the Honda ahead of us, and we cannot even keep up. We have to get Mino on the brakes here, otherwise we'll be going further back. Great braking, braking stability into turn 3. Brilliant braking by Grant. That's exactly what you have to do if you are overtaken. Fight back immediately. Moto 3 is not a place for be helping your teammates. You're supposed to, I guess, to help Darren Binder, or at least to chase down Darren Binder. But as Mino makes his move now, he's up into 6th place temporarily as we go around the outside and brake much later. Last of the late breakers has been inherited by Grant. A little bit of a flash on the camera screen there, I didn't see that before. Going into turn 4, now into turn 5, now flick it to the left for turn 6. We're up by a tenth and a half compared to our previous lap. It's not going to break any walls down, but still it's pretty good for the time being. We'll flick it on the left hand side now for turn 7. Mino and Masia eager to chase down Grant and probably get past him so they can chase down the guys ahead. There's Binder, Suzuki, McPhee, still your podium finishers right now if this race was to come to an abrupt end. As Acosta and Rodrigo continuing to battle it out. That anyone could win this Grand Prix, and anyone could certainly finish on the podium, but you've got to say, Darren Binder looks to be he looks to be unstoppable here today. He must have been really miffed about losing pole position last time out at 4 PM. I don't think he wants to miss out on a win as well. Our personal best lap of the race so far, 1:38.379 for the British rider as we break into turn 1. Looks like we've managed to close down just a little bit to Gabriel Rodrigo. Not enough to consider ourselves into a podium battle, but right now, 2.5 seconds behind Binder and a second behind Gabriel Rodrigo is certainly nothing to scream about. Speaking of screaming, we're going to be screaming in a moment's time if Andrea Mino gets ahead of us into turn 3. We know we're strong in the brakes, and we have done it again here for turn 3. Good stuff from Grant, really close into Rodrigo. So we took 0.3 of a second just by braking that little bit later. And then on the acceleration out, we've already lost 3 seconds to Gabriel Rodrigo. Really challenging race, this one. That's why it was so important to get into the pole position, or at least on the front row. Because look how much front tyre we've used on the braking just to try and stay within a second of these guys. A little bit wide there. Track limit warning number 2 given to Grant. Nothing to be too concerned about yet. We've still got 3 more attempts at abusing the track limits. Of course, that's not exactly what you're supposed to do. But in hindsight, I guess if we needed to, you could. But I'm not going to do that. We're not all about that. Not here on DrAce's channel. Now onto the left-hand side for turn 7. Giving it everything we've got. We've managed to close down within 0.4 of a second to Gabriel Rodrigo. I'm pretty pleased with that one so far. I must confess, I did expect a little bit more from Mino and Masia. But I think because of our superior braking, it's just held them back just a little bit as we go too tight into turn 9 once again. Goodness me, I tense up every single time going to turn 9. We didn't do that in qualifying. Not sure why I'm feeling the pressure to do it here today at 8 PM at MotoGP 21 has occurred as Gabriel Rodrigo takes a good long look behind himself there just to see where Grant's getting on. But don't worry, mate, I didn't manage to beat your lap time, so you can still focus forward. As Suzuki has now been beaten by Gabriel Rodrigo. The man went from 2nd place down to 5th as Pedro Acosta is now the boy in charge to try and chase down Darren Binder. But Darren Binder is looking menacing. He is looking really racy today as he's already up into turn 3 as the rest will be hard on the brakes. Going in hard on the brakes in turn 3, getting closer and closer to Suzuki. If we could just get into the slipstream, we'll just have enough to get into this podium battle. But it's just not quite enough as of yet. Keep pushing forward, and in turn, Mino and Masia are coming with me here. They could well and truly be joining us for a massive battle. That could be potentially why they've not really involved themselves in trying to get ahead of Grant. They want to use his slipstream, they want to use his speed to chase down the Japanese rider, the Argentine, the British rider, and of course the Spaniard, and then eventually the South African, Darren Binder. Now into the left-hand side for turn 6, navigated extremely well. If we get into the slipstream here of Tatsuki Suzuki, we could have a battle on our hands. Getting on the left-hand side for turn 7. Wait for the change of direction. We could potentially get up on the inside of Suzuki. Not quite. But I still feel a move around the outside if we can make it stick. Oh, onto the rumble strip. We lost a little bit of time there. Turn 9. You know we're strong on the brakes. If we get close enough to Suzuki, you better believe we're going for a lunge. Oh, yes, believe it, ladies and gentlemen. Turn 10. Could we have a lunge here? Oh, it's going to be tight. Suzuki holds firm. Brilliant result for the 658 Squadra Racer. I thought we would beat him there, but he is still hanging on very, very well as we're into the slipstream. Good lap from us, but not enough to really beat Gabriel Rodrigo's fast lap time as we go round the outside into turn 1. Put that in the DrAce archive. Round the outside into turn 1 of Austria. Absolutely love that, but yeah, never mind. Put the champagne away, boys, because Suzuki's already got ahead of us. Now we're back into the slipstream, but you better believe turn 3 we're going to be fighting back in a minute's time. Could we go round the outside again? Oh, Grant, you cheeky dog. Round the outside of turn 3. Beautifully done. Now Gabriel Rodrigo, McPhee and Acosta is ahead of us. If we could finish on the podium here, then I would say this is one of the races you're going to have to look at if the championship is decided, because when you face adversity, if you can still finish in a good result, you know everything's going great. And you might think, adversity, Matt? You still finished it qualifying in pole position, but it feels like it's going to be a difficult track, this one. It feels like a very tough race. We're giving it everything we've got to stay with him in power setting 1. It's not as simple as the other one, so you might be able to hold back a little bit and save it to the end. We're generally giving it 100% here. We have to, especially on power setting 1. Nothing held back, giving everything we've got, 110% into turn 7. And we're holding back on the rear of Gabriel Rodrigo onto the right-hand side of the tyre. Could we get him in the same spot we got Suzuki earlier on? Or could we potentially have a lunge into turn 9 or 10? Look at Rodrigo. We got a massive amount of speed as he will dive up at the inside of the British rider. Watch out for that British sandwich, Rodrigo, because you've got McPhee to your left. Grant will be coming into the right if he can get to it. Oh, can we go around the outside of turn 10? That's a brave and bold move if that were to stick. But it certainly didn't this time. Rodrigo, McPhee, Grant, Acosta in a battle here for second place. Acosta's a little bit further ahead, but you know we'll be chasing him down as this lap progresses. Now into turn 1. Things have calmed down a little bit as Rodrigo makes a move up on the inside of McPhee. We're onto the slipstream of McPhee. Get into the slipstream of them both. We'll get double slipstream because 1 rider plus 1 is 2. Yes, I know how to do maths. Getting into the rear of John McPhee. I feel a lunge going into turn 3 if we're close enough, but I don't think we're going to be close enough here right now. Put that familiar right foot out with the Dainese boot onto the floor. Get into the rear of John McPhee once again. Petronas sprinter bound for Grant next season in Moto 2. But I'd still like to rub their faces in it right now and get the Husqvarna ahead of John McPhee. Turn 3 to be navigated in a moment. Can we go round the outside? Oh, this will be beautiful if we get that done. John McPhee leans on us there. Good job for McPhee to fight back there. Oh, brilliantly done as we go round the inside there. Good stuff from Grant, as he had a little bit more extra speed to give than John McPhee, who had to brake quite abruptly to stop us from getting around the outside. As this lap will come to a close very, very soon, there'll only be 4 laps remaining, so we're going to have to continue to push forward. Rodrigo is fancying this one as well. He wants to get up in the inside of the Spanish rookie. Pedro Acosta, Grant, Rodrigo, you know these guys are very, very well known for their battles. This season has been just completely full of battles, and you've got to believe these 3 names have been in there every single time. What a smooth move from the Argentine. He is looking brilliant, and you know what? He seems to have got all this extra speed as Grant came towards him. We have unleashed a beast within Gabriel Rodrigo. Brilliant stuff from him so far. We're using the slipstream of Rodrigo, and you better fancy a move going up into the around the outside into turn 1 of Acosta. Oh, you knew it was coming around the outside. Acosta fights back, leans on us practically. Oh, you got a little bit out of shape. Oh, and Grant's giving a track limit warning once again. 3 out of 5 track limit warnings for Grant. We have to be careful now. No more messing around. No more abrupt manoeuvres. We can't afford to get a long lap penalty here, especially not when it's into turn 1. Going around the outside of Acosta as Acosta feinted a move up on the inside but wasn't quite strong enough. But at the same time, Pedro Acosta, the Spanish rookie, is the last rider I want behind me in a fighting situation here in Austria. You know he has no cut-off point. He gives everything he has underneath that KTM. And I'm not sure if it's going to end in fisticuffs here today with the Spanish rookie. The Battle of the Rookies is on, and you know Grant is already winning the championship lead, and he's also winning the Rookie of the Year honours as we get closer and closer to Gabriel Rodrigo. It seems to be as the guys progress and the race continues, it looks like they don't use power setting 3 or 2, and we're able to use a lot of strength as we go over the inside of Gabriel Rodrigo. Grant up into second place for the very first time, or at least since the very beginning of the race. Darren Binder 1.5 seconds ahead of us. Can we chase him down? That is going to be one magnificent lap if we can do it. But the problem we have now is no slipstream ahead of us. Rodrigo tries to go over the inside of turn 9. We were very confident on the brakes, but we touched turn 9 once again. Too close to the apexes. Oh my goodness, I thought Rodrigo was going to dive over the inside of turn 10 there. A little bit of chatter on the front end for the Husqvarna. Now it is all systems go. Rodrigo on the right hand side. Got to try and fight him, or at least just try and... We're going to have to go for it. We're going to have to just attack him. We can't chase Darren Binder down. I don't think it's possible. I do think we can if I get away from Gabriel Rodrigo, but I don't think Rodrigo's going to let me get through. We're alongside now, 2 abreast on the rise up to turn 3. 2 championship protagonists battling it out here. It's what we wanted. It's what we desperately need. We need a podium position. That's the be-all and end-all for us. Rodrigo needs it as well as he forces us wide onto turn 3. Now, bearing in mind, if we get forced wide or we lose the speed and lose the slipstream, we can't fight back. That's why it's so important for us to make sure if we're going to fight them, we need to beat them. Because if we come on the wrong end of it, look how much speed we lost. We can't afford to get beaten into those couple of corners. As we get a little bit out of shape into turn 4, you see the rear tyre skipping along the tarmac as we get closer and closer to the Argentine. Argentina versus England again. I think we've said that enough times this season already to last a whole career. We're now onto the left-hand side for turn 6. Getting closer, and track limits warning. Goodness me, that was harsh. But that's the reality. If you touch the white line or go over it, you're going to get penalised as we get closer and closer to Rodrigo. Taste my front tyre, Rodrigo! Brilliant move up on the inside. The Dunlop tyre touched his arm, but never mind. We're up into second place, and chasing down Darren Binder is now an impossible task. So we just have to defend against the Argentinian. And of course, Rodrigo behind, Acosta further behind. I don't know how many tenths of a second Acosta is behind, but pretty consistent pace looking on the right hand side of your screen there. A 1:38.9, 38.5, 3, 38.2, 38.2. Brilliant result from us as we get our slowest lap in a while as Rodrigo gets ahead of us again. Acosta's there as well. Ascension, no, Costas. No, Acosta, don't get to the inside, pushing me. Why, Rodrigo out of his seat, goodness me. As we know, Acosta takes second place. Oh my god, the penultimate lap. Carnage is there. John McPhee's behind as well. Almost a sure podium finish could end in practically a couple of points if we're not careful here. Breaking into turn 3. We'll try and go around the outside of Gabriel Rodrigo. Getting closer and closer to the Spanish rider, but we had to pick it up a little bit there because Gabriel Rodrigo was going to lean onto him. Oh my goodness. The Comali Grassini rider has had a bit more Husqvarna to the paint. John McPhee is challenging. He wants to get through. This is my biggest fear. Andrea Minio is there as well. Gianma Massi is not too far behind. Oh, Andrea Minio's on the right side. We were 4 abreast going into turn 4. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Minio up at the inside. Grant is getting pushed wide. John McPhee is there as well. This is the biggest fear has come to reality now. Can't even speak. I was meant to say reality there. But basically, if we lose the battle here, we're going to lose so many positions because everyone's going to bunch up and beat us on the straight line speed. We cannot afford for this to happen. Getting onto the left-hand side for turn 7. Good move around the outside of John McPhee. Now pushing onto Gabriel Rodrigo. Gabriel Rodrigo's at the inside line. Forces us wide a little bit. Touches Minio as well. A lot of contact made here. A lot of touching. A lot of argy-bargy. Acosta's done it brilliantly. Acosta managed to get away from this skirmish and is now into turn 9 as second place leader. We got a little bit out of shape going into turn 9 there, sliding the rear as Gabriel Rodrigo holds the line to turn 10. This final lap is going to be one heck of a battle between 4 riders for 1 podium position. My math says that 3 people are going to be disappointed. Let's make sure we're not one of them. Oh my goodness, Massi is there as well. Coming over the inside of Gabriel Rodrigo, breaking late to turn 1. Not quite. John McPhee alongside. There's a little bit of contact there, a little bit of a kiss as Gianma Massi is behind us as well now. Oh my goodness, we're losing position left, right and centre. Suzuki's there as well. The biggest fear. It's exactly what I said would happen if it came to it, and it's coming to a reality. Up on the inside of not 1 but 2 riders take double. Buy 1, get 1 free for overtakes. Beautifully done. Such effort to get ahead of John McPhee and Gianma Massi. This shows how determined we are to get on the podium. Not finishing on the podium here today would be a disaster after all that effort, that gumption to try and fight forward and get the best result possible in such difficult circumstances would be a teary eye in the pit. Now we get up ahead of Gabriel Rodrigo. Thank goodness he didn't touch our rear tyre. We are still desperate for the Prosecco. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the first race ever that I have not taken the fastest lap finishes. Now onto the left-hand side behind Andrea Mino. We are so determined. We want the Prosecco. I don't mind spraying you in the face if we get it, but left-hand side turn for turn 7. Flick it right for turn 8. We could dive with the inside of turn 8 if we're close enough. Mino has had my number too many times before. Bit of contact made. You're not going to take it this time, sunshine. Can we get up the inside of turn 9? Mino is confident. Grant up the inside of turn 9. Is that enough? Little bit wide for turn 10. Stay within the limits. Turn 10 to be navigated. Oh, Mino up at the inside. No, we're going to lose the podium. Not here today. Rodrigo ahead of Grant as well. Binder wins. Acosta second. And Mino takes third place. Oh my God, what a race. Oh, I can't believe we didn't get on the podium. Absolute devastation for the British rider. Darren Binder was absolutely impervious here today with Pedro Acosta, and Andrea Mino takes the final rostrum spot. What a result for the championship as well. That really bunches things up. Grant is now only leading by 32 points ahead of Rodrigo. Binder in 33 points, just 1 point behind Gabriel Rodrigo. And Acosta moves up by 3 places for 4th place in the championship hunt. Petronas Sprinter Racing Team improved their championship lead to 20 points. 86 points ahead of the Sterile Garda Max Racing Team, which is pretty much only earned by Grant on his own. But guys, what a magnificent race. Another one that has left me completely voiceless for a few days, and I don't even care. I absolutely love this championship, and I'm so grateful for you all to check out this content and sticking with me. I'm glad I could entertain, and this makes it that much sweeter. So guys, thank you very much as always. I really hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did. Like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload, and upon that, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Stay ace and stay tuned for a lot more content. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.